Hi, hello, welcome to Wandering in Wednesday. I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review, and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. And normally these videos go out on a Thursday, so it's kind of been called Wandering in Thursday. But actually, for 2 weeks in a row, it's going to be on a Wednesday because I'm taking part in a book tour, which means that my Thursday video is scheduled as part of the tour. So let's talk about the Wandering In. Now, I have just finished chapter 39, which is a Ryoka chapter. 10,000 words, which is really long for Ryoka chapter. Actually, the Ryoka chapters have tended to be a bit longer, I guess because she's got less. But also, the Ryoka chapters have kind of trended to being some of my favourite chapters. And I think we can now pretty definitively say Ryoka is my favourite Wandering In character. At the stage we're at, there's a lot of characters that I really like that we haven't had enough screen time with. And I feel like it's been forever since we've had like some proper stuff going on with Erin. I know there was stuff going last week. I don't know. I feel like we want some more development in that arena. Anyway, so chapter 39. So, Ryoka has had her leg healed, and the first thing she does is she goes and basically runs an ultramarathon. Yeah, 30 miles. It's quite funny that she says she runs a 30-mile marathon when a marathon is a specific distance, which is 26.2 miles. However, we've been told many, many times, or I've been told in the comments many times, not to nitpick Pirate Arbor with distances and maps and things like that. So I'm not going to, apart from that, when I did it and then said I wasn't going to. Let's not do it again. So she basically runs an ultramarathon on a very, very recently healed leg without having done any rehab or physio on it, which in reality would probably break that leg again. But, you know, this is a fantasy world, so we're going to suspend our disbelief here. Ryoka like does this big long run, and then she basically ends up like led down in the field because she can't run anymore. Because she actually does still need to do some rehab and physio, which only takes a couple of days because of magic. But she ends up riding back to the town that she comes from, which I think Chellam. I want to say Chellam. She talks about where she's been. I'm gonna say Chellam. We're going with Chellam. So she goes back to Chellam with the horns, and eventually gets up the courage to go back to the Runners Guild, and mostly because she doesn't have any money. She loves running, and it's like the thing that she can do that she can use to earn money. But I think that Ryoka is kind of at the point now where she just kind of wants to run for the fun of it. She doesn't really care about the deliveries and the jobs and all that sort of jazz. And also she doesn't want to enter that environment again after they, you know, literally betrayed her and almost like took her will to live and killed her leg. So there's some funny drama in there where like Persua is like sat in a corner because she's been demoted, and the old guildmaster's not there because he's been forced into early retirement by Magnolia. So lots of consequences for Persua's actions. And then so Ryoka basically overhears Fals False and Gari are talking about the running request that's been kind of a background story element. That there was a request where the money just kept piling on and on and on and on and on, and it's up to 80 gold now to go and pick up something in the high passes, or to go and meet the requester in the high passes. And I've felt for a while that this has been kind of foreshadowing that Ryoka was going to take this job. She was going to go to the high passes, and some big story stuff would happen there. And I mean, spoiling the end of this recap, but she does do that. She does take it. The big story stuff hasn't happened yet, but you know, she has left. Anyway, so the Fals and Garia, false, even we'll call him false because he seems like a false asshole. So false and Garia are chatting about this request, and they're trying to get the the receptionist, who's called Stenai, I think. They're trying to get her to take the request down because one of their friends has been tempted to go for this quest because it's so much money, and then he's died, and the only reason they found it was because someone brought his bag back, basically, and he was level 19. He was very experienced. So we got that going on, and Ryoka's like, oh well, okay, like, yeah, and they agree to hide the request so that people aren't seeing it anymore, even though it's now up to 80 gold, which is, like, from what I can understand of how they've talked about money in the previous 38 chapters, sounds like a large amount of money. So they go, Ryoka then goes to Stenai, and she's like, hey, like, I want a job. Are there any jobs that have been specifically requested for me? Because that's, like, when you've made it as a runner, when people are asking for you specifically. And Stenai's like, actually, yes, but they're all from Magnolia. She's just got, like, 20 requests. They're all from Magnolia. They're all, like, bring me some sugar from the market, sort of like jobs that very easily she could do herself. But they're basically, Magnolia is like bribing her to let her come and see her. And she's saying that she won't file any other requests until Ryoka fulfills one with her. And so all the runners like gang up against Ryoka, and they're like, look, you have to take these requests. And we're going to take every single other request, so there's nothing for you to take. And the guildmaster and the receptionist like won't let Ryoka take any non-Magnolia quests. And Ryoka even is like, look, I won't be bullied, I won't be pushed, I won't be pressured. You can't force me to take these. And she's also like a bit scared of Magnolia from the like making her a deal you can't refuse that happened at the end of the chapter before she got healed. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and a lot of like bullying and pressure on Ryoka to try and kind of like give up and just go and take the job, as it were, when she doesn't want to. So that's all happening, and then that this kind of evolves, and it goes on for a lot of the chapter is Ryoka's kind of feelings about this. And Ryoka, like, kind of trying to get other jobs and trying to convince the guildmaster, the guild receptionist even, to give her other jobs. And all the other runners are, like, running themselves ragged just so that Ryoka will have to take a Magnolia job because she'll run out of money and have nowhere to live and eat. Ryoka then tries going to other cities, but the runners have already gone ahead of her and told those runners, like, don't let her take any jobs. So there's quite a lot going on, and even like Garia is like, Ryoka, please, like, just take one of these jobs. And Garia obviously is our friend, she's on Ryoka's side, and she's like, you can even come and stay with me, I know you don't have any money. And Ryoka's like, no, I don't do charity. And so like everything eventually devolves to the point where like Ryoka's only option is basically take one of these Magnolia quests or like stop being a runner, and she doesn't really know how to do anything else. So what she decides to do is take the 80 gold super dangerous request, and everyone's like, no, you can't do this, you will die, like you will die. Literally everyone, like all the other runners, Garia, Fals, Stenai the receptionist, the like Horns of Hammerand, when she tells them about it, and she's like, no, like, okay, Horns of Hammerand, look after my stuff, give me some health potions, and I'm going to run and try and do this thing. And then something really cool happens, which is she hands over her stuff to one of the horns, and one of the things she hands over is her dead iPhone where the batteries died, and the horns are like, "What the hell is this?" And she's like, "Okay, it's something that's really special to me. I'll tell you what it is when I get back. But it's broken, so like, just be careful with it. But it is broken." And then one of the mages is like, "I can just use a repair spell on it. I'll try and repair it." And I'm there going like, "Oh, wait, is it broken or is it out of battery?" But what he does is he uses the repair spell and it brings it back to life. And it basically restores it to brand new, because she says, that it was cracked and it had like the screen was cracked and dinged and dented and stuff. And now it's imperfect brand new condition. But crucially, it does still have her music on there. And so Ryoka like turns it on and unlocks it, and everyone's like terrified of it, which is quite funny. But you would be like, in a fantasy world, like a glowing rectangle, that seems like some like sinister magic, but Ryoka just kind of ignores them and walks outside and like unlocks it and puts on some music and just like starts running and puts her headphones in, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" Like everyone's like weirded out by the iPhone, which is just quite funny. It's fun that also she mentions that it's an iPhone 4, which like the iPhone 4 was technically was it the third iPhone? No, it was the fourth iPhone actually. The iPhone 4 was the fourth iPhone, and it came out in like 2011. So this would be a very old phone for Ryoka, but whatever. So she has this iPhone 4, and also not to nitpick, Pirate Abba says that it is plastic, but the iPhone 4 was glass. It's the first iPhone to have an all glass back. Anyway, it was a terrible design. They cracked really easily. So she then gets in her she then gets like in a groove and she runs out of the city. So she runs out and she's running to the high passage to take this extremely dangerous job. Part of this running, though, she gives us like a proper rundown on like all of the countries of InWorld. She talks about the King of Destruction. Oh, pardon me, it's late tonight. She talks about the she talks about the King of Destruction. She talks about the desert. She talks about some like archipelagos. I think it's archipelagos. Archipelago. That's how you say it. She talks about some archipelago nations, which sounds really interesting. I'm really looking forward to the point in this story where something starts to blow up and blow out and become a bit more epic. I'm really happy with where we are now at this place in the story, but I'm really looking forward to when this is all the like cozier elements are also counterbalanced by the like epic action, big dramatic stuff, which I have been told is coming. I'm in no particular rush to get there. Just wanted to say that looking forward to it. So yeah, she talks a lot about the other countries, and then she also talks about just like enjoying being a runner and going for the run. One thing that I forgot to mention is that while she was in the inn showing the horns her iPhone, or like the dead iPhone before it got repaired, somebody swapped over the health potions that Chiria gave Ryoka for mana potions, which I'm sure is going to bite Ryoka in the ass. But she can't die because she's important, and I'll be upset if Pirate Abba kills her. The next chapter, I would imagine, is going to be a big one, because that'll be the like high passes chapter, I guess, because it is another Ryoka chapter. Interesting music choice by Ryoka. So she listens to Sweet Home Alabama, which is obviously a classic. But then she moves on to a song by Breaking Benjamin called I Will Not Bow, which obviously is very appropriate to the content of the chapter, where everyone is trying to make Ryoka do stuff and she is refusing to do stuff. So she will not bow to them. But Ryoka... but yeah, that song's like quite metally. I actually wasn't really aware of it, and I listened to it after I finished reading just to get a flavour of how it sounds. And don't know why, but just never really heard it before. Not really on my radar. I had heard of Breaking Benjamin, but I kind of thought that they were like a Goo Goo Dolls, Train, Death Cab for Cutie style band, not a metal band. Anyway, music is beside the point. I'm terrible with music. I know what I like and I like what I know, you know? So, looking forward to more music recommendations from Ryoka, although I did not really enjoy I Will Not Bow. I did enjoy Sweet Home Alabama, so, you know, we'll see. She's got 32 gigs on there, full of music, apparently. Yeah, looking forward to more music stuff. Looking forward to more interaction of the fantasy world and the modern high-tech world of the iPhone. I genuinely think that'll be really interesting. Also, be interesting to see Erin's reaction to somebody with a smartphone in world. And I have to feel like these two are going to meet soon, if not like, I don't know. I'll make a prediction that before the end of Volume 1, these two characters are going to meet. Maybe even before Chapter 50. Or maybe Chapter 50 will be like this is the big moment, and that's when they'll meet. But this is a rewrite, so don't know. Did Pirate Isle plan it out that way, or did they expand on the original story? We'll find out. So, I think that's good enough time to wrap it up there. So thanks so much for watching the video today. We are back to the normal schedule next week, unless something mad happens. But I would imagine we'll be going out with just one wandering episode, and we'll be going out on Thursday. So thanks so much for watching. Please do subscribe to get notified when I've been uploading these videos. Please do like the videos, and please leave a comment down below with your own thoughts on my recap and discussion. If you've got anything that you want to talk about based on this chapter or the previous 38, but please no future spoilers, because I am reading this for the very first time with absolutely no knowledge of what is going to happen, aside from vague hints that it gets more epic. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will speak to you tomorrow.